What a monumental question we lay before the House tonight. Would this House, who stood against fighting for king and country in 1933, give up the British classic bacon and eggs? Would this House, who influenced the Europe referendum in 1975, turn away plates of steaming fish and chips? Would this House, against all our instincts and better judgment, go vegan? Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you, there is indeed a spectre haunting Europe. That spectre comes in the most formidable and petrifying form: oat milk lattes, corn sausage rolls, and veggie pret-a-mangers, and tofu. Students march the streets with banners shouting, "Meat is murder," and influencers smother us with photos of salads on white marble countertops. Any more of this, and Piers Morgan may actually explode. Before I tell you why this House must absolutely not go vegan, it is my honor to introduce the speakers on the other side of the House. First, we have just heard from Disha Hegde, not Hedge, as she often gets wrongly called, a history and economics student at St. John's College, and for 2 more days, the president of the Oxford Union. Disha is known for being a beanock, for her obsession with all things floral, and her frequent fit checks. I thought it would be nice here to take you all the way back to Disha's presidential campaign when she ran on a slate called Bloom. Just have a look at that. Remember that, Disha? Whether or not it was meant to look like a tampon commercial, I'll let you all decide. Disha's done well this term, being a hardworking, kind, and fair president, and putting together an incredible term card. More than anything, she's done well to attend lots of meetings of Access Committee, which is more than when she was librarian and got auto-resigned in week 3. Speaking second, we have Dr. Sailesh Rao, who is founder and executive of Climate Healers, a non-profit dedicated to healing the Earth's climate. Dr. Sailesh is also a systems specialist with a PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford University and has written several books on climate change. Now, sometimes people have a go at vegans for being a bit touchy-feely, hippies, but I think this is very unfair. Let's listen to this extract from his book, Climate Yoga, where Dr. Sailesh puts forward a sensible and technical argument. Quote, "We over-consuming humans are reaching a point of being forcibly transformed into compassionate, life-affirming butterflies. Vegan, life-affirming butterflies." Does that sound like nonsense to you? Third up, we have Dr. Chidi, a physician specializing in lifestyle medicine. And I'm not going to roast Dr. Chidi tonight. We are very grateful that he's come. Instead, I'm just going to note that he has stepped up to replace Dr. Shireen Kassam, who had dropped out of this debate after accepting. I think it's a shame she cares more about plant-based diets than free speech. Lastly, we have Joey Carbstrong, an animal rights activist and YouTuber. He went vegan when he came out of prison in 2013, when in his own words, he turned his life around. Since then, he has garnered over 300 million views worldwide. Now, this is something This is something he's very, very proud of. He even has it in his Instagram bio. And it sounds quite impressive, but let's look at some other things that have got 300 million views. The Annoying Orange got 300 million views, ladies and gentlemen. One of Justin Bieber's less famous songs, Ghost, got 300 million views. And if you add up all the Come Dine With Me videos on YouTube, they have 300 million views. So it shows that people will watch any old rubbish. It only got half as many as the Duck song, though, which has 600. That's something to aim for, Joey. These are your speakers, Madam President, and they are most welcome. Back to the main debate. You may have noticed that I am not a climate expert or even, as Disha pointed out, a die-hard meat eater. Instead, I have been put in this debate so you can see your presidents, current and future, go head-to-head. So to illustrate my first point and my main point of why this House must not go vegan, I thought I would walk you through a day in the life of Disha Hegde. Picture the scene. It's a sunny day in deepest Jericho, where Disha has to live because her college kicked her out when she became president. And Disha wakes up, probably about 2 p.m. after a long night in attic of bottle service, and she picks out her finest floral dress and films a quick fit check for her loyal Instagram fans before heading over to the Union. She passes a Starbucks on her way in, and as she enters, the barista's groan. Disha strides up to the counter and, with more than a hint of embarrassment, asks if they have any oat milk today. Within 20 minutes of leaving the house, she has marked herself out as the dreaded vegan. The other customers turn their backs, sipping their hot chocolates, and Disha leaves in shame. Later, she will endure the daily mocking of her friends making jokes about rabbit food. Disha knows this is true, that's why she's not laughing. My point, ladies and gentlemen, is that people cannot stand vegans. When I Googled what do people think about vegans in preparation for this debate, the results that came up were, why do people hate vegans, the war on vegans, the science of why people hate vegans, and vegophobia, which I had never heard of. We have even seen high-profile cases where vegans have been discriminated against. William Sitwell was ex-editor of Waitrose magazine, and he had to resign after an email was leaked where he joked about killing vegans one by one. NatWest Bank faced a scandal when a customer calling to apply for a loan was told by an employee that all vegans should be punched in the face. Now, I jest, of course, about the way Disha lives her life. And after all, there are plenty of reasons that people in, Starbucks might shun Disha, so it probably had nothing to do with her being vegan at all. And to be clear, I'm not saying that the way people may feel about vegans is valid. It is probably and clearly wrong to hate someone because they choose to eat a vegan diet. However, the fact remains that vegans are despised by society, and being a social pariah is not something that I think this house should subject itself to. Why would this fine house, this institution, choose such a life? No. I think it's useful to consider the arguments of the proposition more directly here. A key argument I can see for going vegan is the climate impact, namely that being vegan removes the large carbon impact created by farming animals. I think this argument is overly simplistic. Yes, we could remove meat from our diets, and I agree that that would reduce some greenhouse gas emissions on its own. It's a very easy thing to say in the abstract. But if we're talking about this house going vegan, then we are talking about whether this is something that everyone should do. And the world going vegan would create some new problems. If we switch to crop-only production, we might lose important plant and animal genetic materials and threaten food security when we hit pest or disease pandemics. We would also raise the pressure on land and water resources, causing a serious problem for long-term sustainability. We might even see increasing issues with genetic modification as we struggle to feed the world on plants alone. Put this way, it does not seem so effective to go vegan. Finally then, I must point out, I know my fellow debaters on side opposition will put the rest of the case far more eloquently than I can tonight, so I hope the House does not mind me giving a slightly more light-hearted speech. But let me leave with this thought. If the House votes to go vegan tonight, as your incoming president, I may have to take this very seriously. That means I may have to ban your Pret coffees from the building. I may have to serve only salad at the ball. I may even have to remove the bacon sandwiches from the bar. So think carefully before you vote tonight, for the future of the union's sake.